Hello, it's Wendi, Lanham and Crosbie, Lorimer here from Balcaddy Media, and it's day 4 of the Rolex Sydney to Hobart yacht race. It's still very empty here at Kings Pier, isn't it, Crosbie? It's very unusual. For day 4 of this race, usually we have a lot more yachts in, but so far we only have 6 that have actually crossed the finishing line.
And a big gap to the next bunch.
Yeah, big gap. Next in is No Limit, and they're not due till about lunchtime, we're predicting.
Correct.
So it's been quite a gap, which has been great for us. We've had a lovely sleep,
Bit
which
of
is quite unusual.
There.
Yeah,
That's right.
So the main sort of talk of the day is that there is looking like a clubhouse leader. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted by the crowd behind us. The clubhouse leader at the moment for IRC overall is looking like it's alive.
Behind us here. Yep.
Right behind us here. Obviously, that could still change, but fairly unlikely, would you say?
Probably getting on the unlikely side, yeah.
So that was another exciting finish between URL and Alive.
URM. We're going there again.
I did it again, second day in a row. Let's see if I can do it tomorrow. Make it a hat trick. URM, and Alive. Alive? It looks like they took the lead by just 20 seconds yesterday. By handicap 20 seconds, I should say. URM was first to cross the line. It was really interesting. So you did some great interviews yesterday, Crosbie, with crew on both yachts. What came of those discussions?
Look, it's sort of like victory and heartbreak. It's a rerun of the line honours thing, you know. URM really nearly had it, and then the Derwent sort of did for them as well, which was tough. And 20 seconds, you'd spend your life going back over where we could easily have got a minute back, much less 20 seconds. In truth, it was particularly tough watching URM coming up the last bit of the river because the wind just went westerly, easterly. She was all over the shop, and both boats basically finished across the line with very little wind. Great credit to Alive, fantastic piece of work. Again, just that never say die stuff. You just got to stay in there. And so we did an excellent interview, three interviews actually, with Stewie Bannatyne, with Adrian Carlin, and with Gavin Brady. All of those give you some really good insights into their race. Interestingly for mine, Stewie Bannatyne, who we speak to most years in one form or another on various boats, very often 100-footers, said that was one of the toughest Hobarts he's done, mostly because it was just on the whole time. They were changing sails, dealing with, rapidly changing north to south winds and so on. He looked pretty exhausted. For URM, that's a very hard pill to swallow, not least because they have been absolutely outstanding. And in fact, Gavin Brady said they were the benchmark really of all of the racing, and they had an amazing Blue Water point score series. So yeah, very tough for them to take, but hey, look, I think they've really gelled as a team and they'll come back strong. The one that was fascinating in that was our interview with Alice, who's the navigator, a very young navigator. So have a look at that interview. That's really interesting too, as to how she got to be in that position, and must be pretty cool to be on a boat with people like Grant Simmer and others as well, who are really helping you, just, world-class people in that area of tactics and navigation. So yeah, good interviews.
Yeah, really worth checking them out. They're on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So what's happening on the course now, Crosbie?
Yeah, look, it's not looking pretty, I'm afraid. One of the reasons that the rest of the crew rest of the fleet, I should say, back up the coast, and they're spread from middle of Bass Strait right the way down past St Helens and halfway down the Tassie coast, is that the weather's not going to get any better for them. In fact, it's going to get harder. So big westerlies, and that's very hard. A lot of them are west of the rum line, so they're in close to shore. Big westerlies, you get massive gusts roll off any of the high ground there off Tasmania. Probably a little bit of shelter as well, so a bit of lee, which is good, but it's going to be hard. And then it's gradually going more south, so they're going to get it more on the nose. And my recollections are just trying to get round Tasman Light in those conditions. It's just endless, just tacking backwards and forwards and going nowhere. So we wish them well. Dale asked a question earlier and said, what would they be doing about food? That's a very good question. For a lot of them, they may go with freeze-dried. Most of them, I suppose, at one level will have freeze-dried as a backup, but they'll be stretching it a bit. And in a lot of these ocean races, the one thing you will see in the longer ones is the crew will come in and they'll just go straight to the nearest pie shop because they're starving. They've literally run out. Hopefully you've got enough water. That's the main one. So it's going to be a hard gig, I think, for those guys.
Yeah. And earlier today we did a live interview with Chris Lou, as he prefers to be
Yes,
called, I've
Lou.
heard, from Law Connect.
Yeah.
He had some really interesting things to say. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the insights that he gave you?
Yeah, he did, Wendi. It was, I think the thing that was really good with Chris, he gave us a bit of an overview of what was happening before the race, and then we talked to him about how did that actually pan out, and he talks about that. But we also talked to him about the last hour of the race, because it's very difficult if you're watching a boat to know who's talking to who about what. And so he's explaining what he had to do as the navigator as they were starting to close on Comanche in the last sort of few minutes. He's talking about what Chris Nicholson, the tactic, is doing, and Tony Mutter as the driver. And it's a really important piece of choreography of how all those guys work. So do have a watch of that. Lou gives a really good explanation about that process. And he also shows how critical preparation is, because one of the things they did after the big boat race was he put up a series of charts, performance charts on Andu Comanche and Law Connect, showing where their weak points were. Not weak points by crew work, weak points on the performance of the boat. And he describes why a boat that's God knows how many tons heavier actually ended up probably doing better in that light airs up the Derwent River. So fantastic interview with Lou. That was really brilliant.
Yeah, it was great. Well, that's our update for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, we'll bring another live update to you tomorrow, and keep an eye on our social media for more coverage of the race. See you soon.
then.